Hello. I've really enjoyed being part of this Masters of Rafter calculation group, and this came up in my Facebook feed the other day. All of the all of the numbers are foreign to me. I've never seen anything like that before, but I think it's an old way of doing things. Anyway, I googled it up and got myself around what these mean, and I took that to be the distance from the top of the rafter to the throat of the bird's mouth measured square down rather than on the plumb. So I've made some assumptions that may not be correct, but I don't think much of that means a lot to me. But I wanted to get my head around it, so I decided to do a 3D model of it just so that I could make sure that I understood what was being said in some of these comments. Are still not really on top of it, but then I thought, oh, I might as well do a video to see if it's helpful. So I modelled the I modelled that up, 20-foot span. Um, I got the angle of the hip from a simple diagram here. Uh, I think that's what that means, and that's what that means. So I just pulled them to a common point, doesn't matter where that is, made a rectangle out of that, and then put a hip across there. So that gives me the plan of the hip, that gives me the exact slope of the hip. The slope of the rafters are exactly from here, not as a degrees or any other thing, exactly off this template, which is the most important thing when we're working 3D. So that gave me a number of things, including, of course, this setback distance. The reason I need a setback is that it became obvious from the drawings that that was 1 foot 6 or 18 inches there, and the same here. So this became the point that we started a centre line of our hip from, and not off the corner. Okay, so then I modelled that part of it up. There's no secret about that. I put that rafter, I'd call that the centering rafter, on the centre line rather than against the centre line. So that could be either way. And that's the crown end, and I've got that crown end sitting there. But of course, now the crown end needs to go up. Again, this is what I was talking about: 4 3/4 from there down to there. I think that might have been what was intended. Anyway, that's what I did. All right. So then I thought I better put this to the right height. That could be done either so that the heel of the at the overhang lines up, or the center lines line up. Probably more valuable if I line the center lines up. So I'll just put that there. I'll put a line there and a line there, and I can just draw a little peak on top of this to give me the exact center line. Look what I did there. So that's the center of the job, and if I put a line from here up to there just for the sake of it, and now I should be able to take that and pick it up. Oh, bit too close, sorry. Move, and I can pick it up on that intersection there and put that up to there. That means that will line up. Okay, so that's where that needs to be as far as I can tell. And then I've got a rectangle here that can be pulled up to that point there. So that's how high the little wall needs to be there, the pitching plate, and it needs to be in here. How would you ever say that? I don't know. I could give it to you in millimeters. Righto. So I might just make that a group. And now I need that angle up here, T for tape measure, and I'll put that up the top there like that. And then what I'll do is I'll grab my protractor and I'll pull a line off that at 90 degrees. I'll just type in 90 and I'll draw a line from here, the thickness of the hip. So that'll be across there. I'll just hand off the mouse 2 inches. Can't believe I'm talking like this. And along there on the green and put that there. I'll just cut that, double click on there and paste that in place. P for push pull. And that's where that would cut off. I'll just go down there, 4 inches. Okay. So that's where the hip sits. And now what I need to do, just delete the guide. Now what I need to do is put a hip on that up the correct angle. So I'll just show you how that's a piece of 8 by 2 or 2 by 8, however you say it. 200 by 50 is what we'd say. So I'll just rotate that around, click on that, Q, and this is on plan. Bring that around to there, like so. And then I can put that up in the air at that angle. This is what I did at that angle. Q. So we're not typing in any degrees, we're just going parallel. I'll just hold shift so that doesn't flop off that. And put that up there on that. That's looking pretty good. Now I'll put a bird's mouth in that. I'll just get a plumb line drag a plumb line from somewhere. I'll just wait there. I'll just delete the guide. I'll put a plumb line there on that. And how deep is my bird's mouth? Well, here it is here, isn't it? I'll just draw a line up there, L for line, click on the blue up there. That's the depth left on. M. I'll leave one there. And I'll put that on there on the intersection. Double click on that. Not much for bird's mouth here, but go down to there and rotate that around at 90 degrees, like so. And, oh, lost it. Round to there. Righto, and now I can put that in place, can't I? I'll pick that up there. I'll put that there, right on that spot. I can pull this down, past there, and when that intersects through there, that'll line up with that and that. And this is the tricky bit. This is, make sure that this goes okay. So that should come up through there. Make sure it goes through there. That edge should line up there. Perfect. And this edge, well, it won't be far, but whoops, I'll give you a look. Make sure that that lines up through there like that. That's brilliant. So I'll cut that off. I might pause and cut that off. So that works. I'll cut the tail off. And of course, what I can do is we can move these. How far apart do you put your rafters? I could put those rafters out at, what do you go, 16 or 18? Enter times 10, enter. Okay, that'll do. and I can cut those off so that they're all up against that, and these would be the same, M control, and they can go along there. 16 enter times what? 5? Too many. It doesn't matter, better too many than not enough. And I'll tidy that up and show you what, but you can see that all of the tops here line up. There's no backing of the hip. There's no backing of any angles. That just sits in a plane that intersects with that edge on there and this edge on here, if the geometry is correct. And then we can just flip it over and finish that side off. Leave it with me, I won't be long. Okay, that came in nicely. Didn't take very long at all just to tidy that up. Cut those tails off there and there, cut the hip off in line with that, cut the hip off in line with that. That's an 18-inch overhang there and on there. It's all pretty simple, I think. What I really should do is just select all of these, hold shift down so that I don't really need to do each one at a time. That's it. I'll just flip that along the green, and I can probably I'll move that from there along to here. I'll just get it going on the green until it comes into position. I should have grabbed it. I should have grabbed it there, shouldn't I? Put that there. Oh, would have been good if I did a copy. Flip, copy. There we go. All right, sorry about that. I got too excited, but I do like 3D modeling. I teach roofing to our apprentices, and it really does work out well. They get the concepts. All right. Now, I don't know if that's helpful or not, but the issues were the dummy wall, where it starts. There's a number that I can't even say. That was the height of the dummy wall, keeping the bird's mouth depth the same, measured square off the rafter. What else? And everything lines up, doesn't it? All of those line up with that edge. All of that lines up with that edge. And of course, what we would do is we would get those angles straight off the model, measured in degrees, 19.9 degrees. And of course, all of our lengths would come from the model. The lengths would be measured from the long point on the plumb cut to the bird's mouth. To cut the hip in, that's usually measured on the job, and it would be measured from there through to up to there on that long point. It may be that you don't want to do that. You might want to go from the short point, because that's an easy point to establish. Where does that go? Just here I am telling you all how to suck eggs, and it's not really what I intended to do. But measured square off that rafter at 5 and 15/16 of an inch, is it? Maybe. Anyway, that's just measured square off there. All right. Might be helpful, maybe not. I might get smashed for all of this, but there you go. Cheers. Have a good day.